Hello, my name is William Alexander. I'm Professor Nobis's Intro to Philosophical Ethics class, and today I'll be talking about racialized discrimination in dating. Racialized discrimination can also occur in many other facets of, the job interviews and social interaction, but today it's just romantic relationships. This typically takes the form of being rejected or treated unfairly based on their race or ethnicity when finding a partner. For example, someone may be unwilling to date somebody of a certain race because of stereotypes or biases they hold about that group. They may also be influenced by societal norms or pressures that suggest that certain racial or ethnic groups are more desirable or less desirable as romantic partners. Research shows that racialized discrimination in dating is very common. Studies typically find that people of color, specifically black and Asian individuals, often are seen as less desirable or attractive by white individuals in the dating market. Excuse me. This can lead to lower rates of interest and response rates to dating apps, websites, as well as explicit acts of discrimination, as well as being rejected or even insulted because of one's race. This can have very serious negative effects on people's self-esteem, well-being, can contribute to body patterns of social inequality and segregation, as well as just like general racism towards and perpetual stereotypes towards other groups. It's important to recognize this type of discrimination in all areas of social life, including the dating market. Now, it's not illegal to say, oh, I prefer one person or I prefer this person because of this color or whatever. There's no laws against it, but is it morally permissible? Now, considering that, it's a very complex topic. Some people argue that individuals are entitled to do or date whatever preferences they have and should be free to choose romantic partners based on whatever criteria they find important, including race. They may argue that having a racial preference doesn't necessarily mean that they're racist or hold negative beliefs against another racial group, but others seem to also think that racial preferences are a form of discrimination and perpetuate broader patterns of social inequality and exclusion. Arguments range. Preferences on race are often based on stereotypes and biases, and that they contribute to a system of racial oppression that's unjust. From a moral perspective, it is important to consider potential harms that can result from racial preferences, type negative stereotypes, biases, exclusion, emotional harm, and especially towards individuals who are rejected based on their race. Ultimately, whether or not having a racial preference in dating is morally permissible is a matter of debate on whether or not debate may depend on a person's individual circumstances and context. However, you still have to consider the harms that quote unquote racial preference may bring forth, especially towards people who, you know, can't we can't control it. Now, in further context, does someone are you if it's immoral if it is morally permissible to reject one's group, is it are you morally obligated to date in your race? Does a black man have to marry a black woman? No, not at all. You should be entitled to date whoever you want, no matter what their color is, and based on your own idea of what you like. Now, it's important to recognize systemic practices of racial discrimination and equality. Forcing individuals to marry within their racial group would not necessarily solve these issues, and instead it would just perpetuate more harmful stereotypes. Furthermore, assuming that all black men are attracted to black women and vice versa reinforces more harmful stereotypes that erases diversity of preferences and identities. You just make your own choices on whether or not you want to date of any color, whether they're black, green, or purple. It shouldn't really matter. The whole concept of race is a social construct. Anyway, we're all humans. Hakuna Matata, Kumbaya. Thank you. That was my little lecture on racialized discrimination in dating, which is a very hot topic in today's social circles. Good night.